Okay. Good to go. Whoever would like to start can go right ahead. I don't have the agenda pulled up in front of me.
I have the agenda in front of me.
It starts with me. I have no new updates. I'm holding a baby. Most of the updates are kind of throughout the rest of kind of upcoming. I can say Ty has the dates he was still working with HCS about their scheduling and is supposed to get back to me the end of this week, beginning of next week with Nordecke Cup dates. He agreed we needed at least two to solidify in case of scheduling issues. That's the only outstanding thing. Like I said, there's other points within that I have updates and notes with other directors, but that's all I've got. I'm going to hold my baby now.
Next is comms with some housekeeping.
Okay.
And yeah, comms is next.
I'm going to close the door real quick just so I can project it out.
Okay.
Be above the library. Sorry. I do have some housekeeping. Allison made me a list. We had been taking some action items from the list that Discord and Chris provided us. And so the housekeeping notes mostly relate to changes we've made across the board as it relates to that memo. We've updated the Blue Sky domain to reflect Nordecke.com. We posted all the emails of each director on the board page for easy access. We've been trying to be more intentional about making sure posts are shared on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky, so across all of our platforms. And then also making sure that anything that does get shared to Facebook also ends up in the discussion group for that larger community. And so it doesn't just end up buried in like a regular feed. Community events have a dedicated socials post that is updated each time there is an event. And we are still in the process of getting promotions added to the website. Brian is building that part of the website right now. He's got all the information. He's just been busy with his personal work life and stuff. And so it is in the works, and we hope to have that wrapped up incredibly soon. And we'll make a post either on Slack or through the weekly email, whatever is better timed to let everyone know promotions are available. And then Tifo Sweat has joined Discord. That's a Blue Sky account. Every time they post an update, we're resharing. Then if we have a larger schedule with multiple set days, we're creating a graphic and getting that out there as best we can. And Curtis with Neuron Tour has been more active with the Neuron Tour Instagram and Blue Sky. And we have been Blue Sky, right?
I do not.
Not Blue Sky yet.
Just
okay. Just Instagram, and we've been making sure we're resharing their contest posts and all of the content they've been sharing as well. And that's it as far as I have for housekeeping. Did I have a second bullet point?
Yeah, you had a disco update on March.
Disco update.
Probably Discord update.
No,
disciplinary. Oh, disciplinary committee. Okay.
Sorry, I shortened that because I have more shortened.
No, okay, it's okay.
I like disco.
Yes. Disciplinary committee update from March. There was a committee held, and the findings of that committee determined that the board member in question was not at fault and did not break the code of conduct, and so no additional or further escalations have been taken against that board member. Also, because the situation where Brandon has chose to step down from the board, he's removed himself from a senior leadership role as well. We have chosen not to pursue a disciplinary committee since he's no longer involved with the board in any capacity. And so those are the two updates that we have on disciplinary committees. And just to be clear, sorry, I want to clarify on Brandon's behalf, his stepping down was not related to the possibility of disciplinary committee. It was for personal reasons, as he stated in his presentation to us. And that's all I got.
I have a question. I think we talked about this, but that's in 90 days, right? That this obviously we hoping don't need it anymore, but if we do have any other incidents, is that what we agreed to 90 days?
I think Courtney has the exact answer for that, but yes, I think once we've formed one committee, they can be, the same individuals can be reenacted for another committee hearing in a short time frame. I don't know exactly what that time frame is, but Courtney might know.
When it was originally set up, it was to be kind of like jury duty.
Yeah.
You serve for a certain amount of time, and then hey, you fall off. The next individuals come on. But I think if we had to do it again, if it followed within that 90-day time frame, the first asked would be the individuals who had done it before, just because they had done it before, they knew the process, and we could expedite it through.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
I do have something for comms. Thank you for sharing the update about WooCommerce and pirate ship being down. It's fixed. Somehow the license key we had expired. And so I had to disconnect pirate ship from WooCommerce. I got it reconnected. Everything's up. So we are good to go.
Do you want us to share?
If you could please let them know, hey, we're back up and running, and we'll get stuff out as soon as we can. So Porter Supply did send out the next round of membership kits that had t-shirts with them. So all those went out today. Those members have been provided their tracking numbers, so we're caught up on most of that stuff.
Is that it for comms or?
Yeah. Comms is good to go.
All right, community, don't know if we have anything going on there.
I can share our next date if that, it should be June 10th, I believe, June 1st. June 1st, and I believe it's the Columbus 10K is the next event. Let me double check. I have that in the email. I apologize. Hold up. Agenda, I forgot to pull her list. This is the Columbus 10K. I do know that for sure. Let me just confirm the date to be 100% sure. And that is the next available volunteer opportunity with the community team. That is listed as a full volunteer.
I believe with that one, we're working like the end. So we're handing like the bananas and the medals and stuff like that, and water for people when they finish the race. Is that volunteer opportunity?
That's correct. It does say finish line. It is on June 1st, Columbus 10K volunteer finish line. Awesome. And then after that, private parade right around the corner. And I know Emily will have more details on that.
But that's June 14th.
June 14th. Yep, we've got a match on the same day. It's going to be a busy day for us, but
I think I think I heard we have 30 or so already signed up. So it's March, and still a month away.
Can we add the community events to Nordecke calendar?
I will work on that. Yes. So that's a good call out. Thank you.
Speaking of Nordecke calendar, I don't want to go out of order here, but on the way here today, I was trying to find the address, and I got on the app. Do we still actively maintain the Nordecke app?
That's a great question. I don't.
Yes and no. I will reach out to Mr. Klein and see how we can get that to sync with the calendar updates that are going on.
Yeah, because they did not have the board meeting, at least if I was looking at it.
Okay.
correctly, so,
No, the app doesn't have any events right now. And today's meeting also was missing location in the main calendar also.
Yep. That fell on me. Bethany sent the information over and I didn't get a chance to get it updated. So that is mine. I'll make sure, I know the next couple meetings are scheduled. I'll make sure that that is accurately reflected on the schedule coming up.
I'm gonna make a spreadsheet of the meeting locations and times and stuff. You wanna send me the email?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Hold. Okay, so creative
I think they're creating.
is, I don't have an update for that right now. TIFO has been active. TIFO Sweat has been active creating for the past 10 days or so. Now on to painting for How Is Real. We will have more dates, I'm sure, in the coming days for that, but I think the schedule we had shared has been exhausted, I believe.
quick question. Do we know, is Brent out of town already? Or
Today is.
Yes. He left today. Sorry to interrupt, guys. He left today. He left me some instructions. We do have the keys to TIFO space. There is one panel left to trace, but there were some adjustments that had to be made to it. That's why we kind of saved that one. They are working on painting the other ones. At some point, we will need to get additional paint, but he has that all sorted and put into the TIFO space. So the next couple into next week and stuff, we're going to work with some of the people that have the keys that we put in charge to put out a TIFO schedule, but we need all hands on deck. So we're going to need to put out to volunteers to come help paint, help finish tracing that last one. There is a lot of white paint on this. But yeah, we're in those stages. We're going to need all hands on deck to get all 10 panels done. So we're going to do major pushes on that. I'm even thinking on Saturday on the capo skins, if we do shout outs pre-match halftime to get volunteers to come out. But yeah, we need all hands on deck to help get this for 10 panels for Hell is Real.
So, to clarify what Courtney was saying on white paint, why that's relevant, this is going on yellow fabric, so we're gonna need multiple paint and dry cycles to get the white to be correct. So that's that whenever we have something like that, it's gonna take longer for production.
Courtney, did Brent leave a point of contact? I know he doesn't officially have a deputy. But if there are questions or if something goes.
There's a couple, not an official. Emily Keg is one that has keys. Ethan, who was a previous TIFO creative director, has keys and is helping take charge. So I have to speak to each of those parties and figure out between the two of them and see if there's a third that we're going to have with that. We also, once the game gets closer to, are going to need a full army of people helping with the lift. And with this lift and it being the first time we're doing all 10 panels, there is going to be a night before lift and practice so that we have the timing and everything right with that as well. So we are going to need to get volunteers to be on the field, volunteers that will be sober, at least mostly sober, and that can handle this, that will be able to give up a couple hours on their Friday night, the night before Hell is Real, to help do the lift practice with the FO and the team as well. And that's going to be more to come to set up with them on timing for that. And yes, this is for Hell is Real, May 17th.
And then, beyond that, once we get through Hell is Real, then we'll address the next project after that, which I think is in the planning stages.
There we go. Just curious.
The next project will be Pride.
Oh, that's I forgot about Pride, right?
As to what the date is, I don't want to confirm that, but there is a target.
June.
Sure. It's going to be a tight turnaround, I guess is the. Okay, that's creative. Game day.
I don't have anything really to update other than being new to the position. So kind of running.
There's a game Saturday.
There's a game Saturday. Right now we're thinking about the weather right now. I know it's probably going to be rainy because it's game day, so it's going to be rainy and a little bit windy. So as of right now, I know we have a call out for volunteers to come out to help with banners, and that's been really helpful. So continuing that call out, I think would be great to get people out there. Right now, just kind of keeping an eye on the weather to see if we're going to even have banners this weekend. Some of them are in pretty bad shape. So, and kind of talking a little bit with Norm and just kind of behind the scenes a little bit, we have been trying to organize a time to get some of these banners fixed up and repainted, and have our support groups come out and maybe redo some new banners and create some new banners and go through the inventory of what we have, so we can just improve that aspect of it. So getting with Emily or Ethan or whoever has a key, especially now that we're going to have a couple of weeks before Hell is Real and even after to kind of get that going. I'd really like to have a good grasp and focus on that, pretty soon. So I talked to Ty just briefly about a possible parade for Hell is Real. March. What is the parade? Parade too. But at least a march for Hell is Real to kind of get that aspect going. I'd love to be able to kind of get a group together, around Betty's. I think last season we did a really one of the games. I think we walked with a bus. I think that was pretty dope. So I'd love to be able to get coordinated with Ty, kind of doing that. So I apologize. I've been out of town this week and stuff for some personal stuff, but yeah, those are two of my focuses right now: the banners and the parade march.
I would like to add prom Decca is Saturday. Come on out. It's your only chance to have prom in the rain, so come have a good time.
Okay, so that is game day, which leads us on to March.
Merch, there are roughly 850 members out there now when I checked before leaving work. Roughly 30 of them have come from the Hell is Real lottery. So we're sitting around 100 unique lottery entries for about 203, 205 tickets right now. So that is going well. That closes Monday, I believe, the 5th. So when the lottery goes down, we'll start working on drawing the lottery and sending out notifications to those who won the lottery and first round invoices and such. 95% of the membership kits have been sent out. There were some that have from Tuesday through now that I have not gotten back to the space to pick up kits to get them out, but that is on my radar to do this weekend to get everybody caught up on those. There are 2 new merchandise drops coming very soon. One I've shared in the board chat and stuff I think it's going to be pretty cool. So we will see how those go and go from there. Different stuff that we haven't done before, so I'm excited for them, and we'll see how they go. Kids Club, finally got an update on that. Got vendors squared away with tariffs and such. We're pivoting from using vendors in China to using vendors over in India. So that stuff will be coming in, and we'll be launching that this weekend, I believe, is what I'm shooting for, pending getting the graphics for it.
I have a very selfish question.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm going to join twice. But when we do the kids, so the kids are official members, right? Like these are going to count as memberships.
They will not count as memberships. Yes, no, they will not count as Colin and Allison and all of us have said, for legal reasons, I don't want to hang on to information that we shouldn't have. So there will be no memberships. There will be a thing in there just saying, hey, if you'd like to have your child's name included on there, go ahead, let us know what their name is. But all the emails and stuff pertaining to the Kids Club will be generated and go towards the parent, which they can then pass along.
Gotcha. My question was for one reason.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I interrupt 1 second? I had one update I completely forgot about because, babies and distractions and stuff.
Yep.
Bud and I did talk a little bit earlier, so I have a treasury update. Current bank balance is $71K. No significant cash expenditures on the horizon except for Hell is Real ticket and parking. That'll be taken out on May 9th for those, and that's about $13.7 thousand. And him and I are coordinating next week to go over financials, have everything transferred over where we get my name finally on it so that we have a current chair on the banking to be able to go over all the financials and stuff like that. But it messaged me earlier. I just forgot to mention that in my update. But yeah, so we're still sitting pretty, at least bank-wise for right now, considering ticketing and all that fun stuff.
Cool.
Okay, so that covers treasure, I guess, which was added, and we did merchandise, so partnerships, which is Robbie, who is not here. I think the call out was, we are still in conversations over, a partnership, sponsorship of the Columbus Eagles. I don't know if anyone wanted to handle that, or if you'd like me to.
Just to have an update going into the minutes. I think there's an ongoing conversation about different opportunities to, I think there's general agreement that we want to support them in some way. We are just exploring different avenues that we might be doing that in.
I think that covers it.
And this kind of went on me, and I can put it officially in the motions, but we kind of had a conversation over the last couple of weeks, kind of citing on stuff. And we definitely have a counter offer we want to do with the Eagles, not just as a summer sponsorship or a t-shirt sponsor or a jersey sponsorship, warm-up jersey sponsorship that they had proposed for $2,500. But I was looking at their website and doing some investigating, and I can put this as an official motion. I'll put it in the Slack channel for those that aren't here tonight and on here. But I do want a motion that we do counter offer with purchasing the 20 individual, is it season ticket members that includes the summer games and the winter games? And then we can do as we see fit with those, whether we donate it to local girls soccer teams or different partners or things like that, and then propose with them. There's a little section within their stadium that they call like the Nordecke nest to kind of fit their theme and show that sponsorship, because their big thing that they were talking about was raising attendance. And if we get 20 of them to cover like a youth soccer team that covers some of the kids and the adults, and that gets them hooked to want to come again, or, you know, however we see fit to get those to provide and push attendance and stuff like that. And then agree with them with the agreement with our socials that when they do post about their games and stuff, to repost that and have a section within our emails to include when upcoming games are and things like that. And like I said, I'll put that officially in the Slack channel, but I think generally we wanted to do something like that. And I think total budgeting that, it was about $1,500 that they were getting.
Any other comments on the Eagles? Okay, Travis.
Let's see. So since the last board meeting at St. Louis went phenomenally well. Some about 55, 60 folks down there. I traveled with that group. Everyone went wonderful. Had a great time. Great host. Next away game is Philly. We sold 8 tickets. It is a very small number going to Philly.
On St. Louis,
Yes.
Was there something that happened in addition with the St. Louis away trip?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. We thank you. Thanks for presenting. Yes. Yes, I appreciate that, sir. Thank you for asking that question. Yeah, so we partnered with the St. Louigans, which are the supporter group of the of St. Louis City. They hosted us at their tailgate. It went very well. By my estimate, we had probably 40 crew fans there by the end of the tailgate. No issues at all commingling the groups. They were very friendly. We were very friendly. Everything went really well. In fact, actually, one thing I loved about their tailgate, I think we might want to look into, is they had one of those video game like setup, like trailers, like you see at kids' birthday parties. It's like an activity to do at their tailgate, something we could explore for the future. But anyways, went really well. Went down to the game. No issues at all during the game. We did decide to make a $100 donation to the St. Louis Pride Festival, which is one of the official sponsorships or official nonprofits that the St. Louigans support. So we took a vote. I think it was unanimous. The board voted to donate $100 to the St. Louis Pride Festival in appreciation of the St. Louis and their hosting. So that will be a model I will continue utilizing for the rest of the season selectively. We're not going to commingle the fan bases in Cincinnati or Chicago or other cities where I'm sorry, Matt. I'm very sorry that you missed your opportunity to beat up someone from Cincinnati, but where appropriate, we will continue reaching out to the local supporter group and seeing if we can join them. That worked really well, and we'll do that when it's appropriate. Philly is coming up next. Was that it with anything else, Norm, that I need to cover with?
No.
Let's see. Philly's next. A very small group going. It's about 8 folks. Most of them are local to the East Coast. Eric from the Capitol crew is going, so he's kind of agreed to serve as kind of my de facto contact for that game. Then we have 2 games that are currently open, actively selling. The next one is Charlotte on May 24th. After talking to Bud and a lot of other folks, we did decide to not do a bus for Charlotte. It's just been way too difficult to fill the buses. And I think it was a financial impact to the organization where we basically wound up eating money that we just weren't able to financially recuperate the cost of the bus. And I think honestly, just a lot of people might prefer to have their own. It's not really cheaper, especially if you carpool, to do the bus. And I think people just prefer to have their own control of their own schedule. So we're not going to do a bus, but we have organized a hotel block. So it is roughly $50 off of the rate that you get on your own. So a decent discount for folks. And it's Memorial Day weekend, so that hotel block will be good for the entire weekend if anyone wants to do a longer trip and explore Charlotte. As of now, I think I checked this morning, we have 32 or 33 tickets already sold. That is still open for another week and a half or so. Expect we'll probably get to 50 to 60 on that game. Miami is the week after it. As I jokingly said, this is our second away game against Miami this year. And this one, I think we've currently sold 10 or 15 tickets. Not expecting to get a huge number there just based on the distance. And I think a lot of folks are waiting to go to Miami until they open their new stadium next season. So I don't think we'll sell a huge number. Currently, now that Charlotte's up and running, I'm turning my attention to Hell is Real. I am dreading it, or Hell is Real, the await, or Hell is Real. I'm dreading it because I know that will be issues inevitably, but that will be coming in probably later May, early June. We'll be opening that up. In terms of the travel package, we will do a hotel block, and we will most likely do a bus for that one. We will do a ticket lottery. I'll have to work with Brad to figure out how to make that happen or how to organize it. We'll probably just follow the same format as the home Hell is Real. So we'll probably open that up, I'm assuming late May or June. We'll get to that. That game, I think, is mid-July.
It's July 12th.
That's right. Yeah.
Will there be a down and back option for the bus?
Yeah, the bus, I think we'll probably do separate. I do not believe we'll do a combined bus hotel option. It will be an either option. If you choose to do the bus, it'll be a down and back. If you decide you want to hang out in Cincinnati, we will have a hotel block. And that will not have any financial impact on the organization. It'll just be we'll negotiate a discount. If you choose to get a hotel, click on this link and book it yourself.
To address an elephant in the room, do we have any plans on making an ask of ownership to do for us what Cincinnati has done for them?
I mean, I think it'd be very funny to watch Molly laugh horrifically when we ask that. I mean, I would love to explore it because I believe last year, we don't have pricing yet for Cincinnati, but I looked last year, I went to the game, I looked up kind of what my credit card charge was $80. We are apparently charging them $90, and that was viewed as so onerous to the Cincinnati fans that they have agreed that the club is subsidizing it. I think $25 of the cost they're subsidizing it. We can ask it, and I think we all know how that's going to go if we ask, but I'm happy to make the request. Sidebar, when we were in St. Louis, I was having a conversation with their folks. They pay 100% of the cost of all of their fans who travel to games. So tickets are completely paid for by the club for all St. Louis supporters who cover it. And I talked to a Kansas City fan who has the same all away games. Their club pays 100% of the ticket cost. The fans have to pay the travel cost, but the ticket costs are covered by the club.
Do you know if they pay their membership fees to the front office or if they're all?
I didn't ask that. I have a good relationship with them now. I can reach out and ask.
I was just curious.
I know some of the expansion sites have a more
Integrated, like
that's one way to put it.
yeah.
Less independent supporters group, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was a more direct relationship.
That makes Kansas City's an original.
No,
Original
I didn't say
Yes.
like I know Charlotte is integrated.
They're run by the club. Yeah.
You're pulling up Hell's Real. I did forget to mention in mine, I finally got in contact with two individuals from Cincinnati, from the Incline Collective and well as the Pride, about scheduling the night before soccer game. By the time they finally got back to me, there's not enough time to get a full 11v11 for our leg here. But we're in talks of trying to get it down there and get the first leg down there for a pickup game. They're very much interested in making this happen as much as possible from talking to them and keep it going year after year. They thought it was going to be the morning of and that they wouldn't get a lot of people. I said, no, the idea was to kind of make it the night before. And if it falls on a Saturday or whatever, make it so people can spend the weekend wherever they're going. Yeah. Kind of make it. So working on trying to get the away leg match set up.
Unless I'm missing something, that concludes chair updates or board member updates, which would move us into new business, which covers a lot of what we're already talking about. So new business is how it's real. We've talked about TIFO. We have not really talked about tailgate. I don't know if Courtney has stuff there, but I don't think there's anything for us to talk about with tailgate at present. There will be a tailgate.
Are we getting any indications? There's construction now started, or like, I think they originally, at the beginning of the season, they promised us was only 2 weeks notice that they guaranteed they would provide us before we were kicked out. Is that still the situation?
I mean, that's hearsay. We don't know. They could come at us tomorrow and be like, "Oh, sorry, you're out." But I don't think they're silly enough to quite do that. We did reach out because last weekend we had random smaller dirt piles scattered about, but it made parking difficult. Supposedly they're not supposed to be doing that, and we'll have that fixed. We'll see. I can possibly do a drive-by tomorrow and be like, "Hey, this needs to be fixed," or lot opens tomorrow in the muddy mess. I think tailgate stuff, just kind of adding on what we have planned tomorrow for Prom Decca. Some volunteers have helped. We've gotten a giant balloon arch that we're putting together. I know there's also going to be a little community product where if people want to partake but don't want to necessarily dress up because it is going to be chilly and rainy. There is a corsage and boutonniere little station. You can pin those on and pretend like you're at real prom. They're not real flowers, though. Sorry, we are not budgeting from that, especially with tariffs from flowers from across the seas. And I know Trent was doing a spiked punch. I know I'm making a not spiked punch. We're going to keep it as a non-spiked punch. If you want to take a glass and spike it yourself later, that's totally high school and prom is on you. I'm missing something. There's a prom themed playlist. So lots of fun. And then we do have a voting. We'll pick a time and pick that. And then we will have a prom king and queen that we talked about possibly having come up on the center stand before the game and help lead Wiseman. So those are just some fun ideas just to put out there, just to kind of fit into the theme, have fun with it. I mean, if we're not having fun, what are we doing? So just little fun add-ons for the prom deck theme.
And I forgot this, I will add to the tailgate. I've been in contact with a couple of the Charlotte supporters who are traveling. It's a relatively small group, 20 folks or so total traveling. We have invited them to our tailgate. So if you see some Charlotte, they seem nice, they seem welcome, they seem cool. If there's any issues, obviously we'll handle those, but I'm not expecting any. So if you see some folks wearing teal, they were invited, so be nice to them, share a beer with them.
if you see Charlotte fans looking lost, please offer to help them find each other. Okay, so we were in Helen's Real updates. We've covered tailgate, covered TIFO. We've covered the lottery, I think, pretty sufficiently on Brad's end. So I don't think we have anything there. And you've covered the supporter soccer game. So that should cover everything for Helen's Real. And then we had alternative transportation partnership for July match. But was that the Helen's Real?
No, that was, here's that.
Oh, yes, that's me, sorry. Still in the works. I have a lot of moving pieces to get this together, but essentially the idea is potentially I want to say it's July 29th is the day we play on a Friday. I've spoken with Ty and he's going to help me the best he can with organizing a underlying theme where we promote our fans and our members to take a bus, ride a bike, walk to the match, all of those things, anything to reduce dependency on cars. This would be a partnership with CODA, who I have a few contacts with, and they're eagerly waiting on some more information. A member who is a huge bike advocate locally, Chet, he's been more than helpful already with helping me establish some grounds in the biking community as well as just overall transportation community within Columbus. And then also in partnership with, I believe it's Franklin Cycle Works who puts up the biking valet. And the idea here is to move people away from cars for a night and try and get like a more holistic and like secondary transportation means to the game. And one of the ideas that I haven't yet sent to Cody yet would be to have a couple buses stationed at the free lots in Grandview Yard, because I know in the summer we have thousands of people walking from Hofbrauhaus and those free lots to the game, and to set up a couple CODA buses that in the sweltering heat of a 5 p.m. walk in the summer to bus those people down to the stadium, mostly to create awareness with CODA and to get people on their buses. My pitch to them is mostly going to be like, hey, you have a misconception. People don't know about your buses, don't really ride your buses. Here's an opportunity to get 1,000 or more people on your bus in the summer and get them out of the heat. And then also work with Chet to design a bike route, which will travel through different parts of the city using the trail system and the protected bike lanes that the city's working to implement, and kind of create like a bike parade that goes down nationwide that eventually leads to the bike ballet. And then Ty, and what I've been working with him to present is just like an increased awareness from the hired Columbus police officers that are surveying the streets that are closed on Nationwide and other areas, just so they can be aware of right-of-ways and increased bike traffic and pedestrian traffic and things like that. And then also the potential of allowing each of those organizations to set up like information tents on the sidewalk, which you mentioned they now have the capacity to do outside of the plaza, which is fully booked. They've petitioned, I think, with the city to get vendor access on their sidewalk, so that way CODA can share membership information. I know Leo, the new scooter company in town, is trying to launch here, so maybe they want to set up a tent. And then Yay Bikes, who Chet is a board member of, to set up with their bike advocacy information, as well as Franklin Cycle Works. I know they have a membership program that helps fund their bike repair and low income services. And so basically it's just a way for us to engage with those aspects of the community and provide like an alternative to driving your car to the game for our members and our fans. Sorry, that was a lot of information. I apologize. Any questions? Anything like that? It's still in the early stages, and I need to get everyone collectively together to come up with this, but a tentative target date, I think it's July 29th. It's the Friday night.
July 25th. 29th is the first Leagues Cup. 25th is Friday, Orlando.
That's a Friday, right? If I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes,
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so that game is the tentative date for that, assuming we can get everything together. So,
Good on that?
Yep.
Okay. There is a question in the chat.
Yep, I was at Scott Gorsling dropped a question. I was asked the last two tailgates about non-alcoholic options. Are we going to start having those each tailgate? This was brought up because Darren was not at the last two tailgates, and people were wondering about this, if we were going to continue to have it.
I think there's also a response.
Yep. Courtney said, yes, we realized last week we dropped the ball not having the dry area since Darren was not there, but we will have a cooler with NA options going forward.
Okay, so I think that covers everything on the formal agenda. We do have a tight out on this room tonight, which I think is 7:30. So we actually have a good amount of time. If there's any other business from board members that hasn't been brought up yet? Anyone have anything? Okay, then move to the open forum portion. So any questions from folks here in person? Or Zoom? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to bring up the Crew 2 games. So they did not let us into the Nordecke. They had it roped off for the last game. We would like to push for at least one section open in Nordecke and where we can put our banners and all that. It seemed a little crazy if they won't let us in there.
Was the indications you got that this was meant to be for the entire season?
It was, the way it was said, it was sounded like it would only open up if we sold a certain number of things.
Did they give you that number?
400-ish, something like that.
So I think they also said it was something like sign up for Sonic Temple.
I don't think that was.
That was a cop-out answer. The Sonic Temple is next weekend. We can definitely make sure that it is a talking point on the next FO call. I know there might be a couple games between now and when we have that call, but we can definitely bring it up then and address it with Ty.
We're like 2 or 3 weeks away from the next home game, actually,
Okay.
because of Sonic Temple. So there's a good time until then.
And I think we're 2 weeks out. After today, we're 2 weeks out from our next FO call, so roughly should be about the same time. But we can bring it up, and I'm sure when we bring it up, Colin and the comms team can communicate out what we hear from that meeting.
is there a specific section? Because I know it kind of like converges all down there. And what did they push you all to?
To the 3 middle sections
Okay.
on the east side.
Okay, and do you know roughly how many sections were between you and what would be considered the first Nordecke, just so we can?
Like 3 or 4.
Okay, because I'm assuming the rebuttal is gonna be like, we don't want to staff.
Yeah, like, and they don't have to open every section in between. We just need one. If we can have one section in that area.
Yeah, they basically just have these 3 sections.
Okay, so the yellow section.
The other ones they have to basically.
Okay, and those are the seat, like the seat backs,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Okay.
And Nick, remind me if I'm wrong, but have they, if there are any earlier afternoon games, we know how hot that east side gets. So they really expect all the fans to just stand there and bake in the sun instead of sit on the side by the stage where the shade comes over. They're going to have major issues with that, especially with attendance. So I can bring that point up as well of why they need to have that area by the Nordecke section and by the stage open.
Yeah, that's the only part that gets shade on.
So if I'm reading this right, Heck is Plausible is a 3 p.m. game?
Yes.
And that's the next home game?
I believe so.
So that would be the first one that would meet what Courtney was saying, which is that you guys are. Anyone who's sure that game is gonna get baked.
Yeah, the last game was already hot. Like it was an abnormally hot day in the last weekend.
And then it also looks like June 21st versus Philly. Philly Union 2 is also scheduled for a 3 p.m. game. And July 5th, those would both be awful.
Yeah. Awful days.
I'm sorry, what was the date of the next possible game?
Sunday the 18th, day after tomorrow.
I will message Ty tomorrow to get this conversation started. I know our meeting will be on the 15th, but I would like to have a final answer by that day as opposed to bringing it up that day. So I will message Ty, see if we can get something together, because I don't want this to be a situation where one of your biggest home matches of the year gets put on the back burner because they're like, oh, it's only 3 days away, we can't do it. So
Nick, excuse me for not knowing the answer to this question already. Are there any more LDC games on the calendar that I'm not taking into account?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Okay, but that assumes that number is real and not.
Yeah. And it's, we saw these sort of a gate or these, when do they want the form sold by? If these sold by Friday or these sold by.
I've noticed they've been changing a lot of the Crew 2 dates lately. Have they given you guys as Cappy Brava any rhyme or reason behind that, or are they just willy-nilly changing them?
I'm not sure why they're changing them. I think that all the ones that have changed were all road games
Okay.
so far, but I'm not sure why they're changing those.
I have a separate question if we're good on that. Somewhat related. Now that we're through the Open Cup run, was curious how any feedback that Cappy Brava had coming out of the Open Cup run, both with things that the board as a group did, but also how this was handled as the first, I guess the first one with advanced planning that we have any idea of as being in the Open Cup and being at LDC.
No, I mean, I think we definitely appreciated the buying the tickets and the social media push behind the last 2 games. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't something we expected, but yeah, it was very glad to have that. And it's nice to be able to promote that to the fans that will willing to go to those games.
I know that not being in the Nordecke at LDC either was a bone of contention.
Yes, yeah, we would have preferred to be in the Nordecke. Like we understand a little bit more when it's at lower. It's a way bigger stadium. It's a way bigger ask to staff that area, but yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, the other thing too is we would like to push for smoke as well. They used to let us have smoke at Historic, and the last 2 years they have not had anyone. I don't know if we're not allowed or if they just not bothered to bring any in or what. But that's another thing that we were.
I think the reason there's 2 reasons for that. One, it's the first opportunity we've had since the Open Cup run to have both have you to discuss it, but also these are related, right? If this is now it's viewed as Crew 2 cannot have a supporter section no matter where they are, that's a challenge. And then smoke is another thing that you raised.
Comment was just dropped online that said Heck is Plausible is also a double header with the Eagles, Alex believes. So they'll probably open more of the stadium that day. We should ask for Nordecke to be open, but not just for that day.
Anything else that we're not considering around the Open Cup?
I don't think so. Not this time.
Okay, so that covers the questions you had. I guess we should ask if there's any other open forum stuff in the Zoom audience.
Not currently. There are no incoming questions.
Also, just hang out for a second. Let it run.
Yep. If anybody listening online does have a question, let me know and I can unmute you and we can go from there.
I didn't notice those like the thread on Slack about some people getting emails from specific.
be honest, that's popping up during the board meeting. Anything that I said would be pure speculation at this point, so.
Yeah.
We'll look into it as the best we can do. Courtney has a comment on asking how many tickets are left for Saturday, and that's a good call out, and I will refresh my browser as we do that. There are 121 tickets left for Saturday at Nordecke.com.
Yep, don't get scammed. Get your tickets directly from Nordecke.com.
And on the ticket front, the rest of the season is live and out there, so we can
For all MLS regular.
all MLS regular season games. Yes.
On
Yep. The one Leagues Cup game that we have is not up there currently yet, but the product is built.
Okay. Any last question? There seems to be a question.
There is a question from Heather asking in regards to the NA cooler. Who is doing this it just says who is doing this. I know that Darren had talked about it, but he wasn't there the last couple weeks.
You want to handle that? We covered this a bit already.
Yep, I know Courtney said that we will have the cooler, but I think Heather said she missed it. She just joined into the meeting and so missed this if it had already been talked about. But Courtney did say that we will have a cooler with NA options for the next match.
I guess the best version of the answer is that we also caught
And the NA punch.
that this was brought to the board's attention and it's going to continue to be backstopped by the board. So weeks Darren is there, Darren will take the lead, and weeks he's not, they'll be covered.
Yeah, I believe Robbie did mention that he will make sure that there are options for the next match as well. So yeah, steps have been taken.
And Melanie chimed in that she would be happy to assist with this as well, and just kind of make sure it is there, make sure there are options there for people who would like it.
Okay. If there's anything else, speak up. Otherwise, I will move for adjournment.
I will second. Do we need to vote on anything? Courtney, say I motion it.
No, she said she put it out there, but she's going to drop it in the channel because I don't think at the time she made it there was enough people on for a quorum.
Gotcha. It's about the Eagles.
Yep.
So there's a question from Brent asking, sorry for this, did we discuss the Eagles? And the only thing that was covered in response to Columbus Eagles is that the board is considering several different proposals and hopes to have something to move forward on and discuss with Eagles ownership in short order. Nothing ready for today.
Another question came up, said also during the meeting, a bunch of us got a blind carbon copy email that was also sent to all of the board accounts. Have you guys seen it yet?
I have, yeah, I've seen it. I think the most concerning part is that non-current board affiliated people are receiving this email, which fine, transparency and all, but to seek out people and just copy them on this is strange, I think, in the least. I don't like that there's this like situation where people's personal emails are being pulled from official channels that we monitor and being used in such a fashion. Not that there's like a data breach or anything, but I don't want our official places where people are putting in information to be subject to be included in things they don't want to be included in.
It's strange, and there is a board meeting going on, so I would like for everyone to get to read it and digest it really before we comment on it, because and we are all actively in a board meeting right now. So we do need to, a way when we actually have time to sit down and read it, have a chance to digest it and try to investigate this a little bit.
To the people that are asking questions online in regards to what is this email, where is it coming from, and why, I'm going to defer those questions being answered. And so, as Trent said, we as a board have a chance to kind of read over it and discuss it, because as you said, most of us, all of us got it during the middle of this meeting. We've not seen it, not had a chance to discuss it. But we do owe a follow-up to it, and there will be, I'm assuming I'm accurate in saying there will be a response to it. Just give us some time to digest it, discuss it, and determine what we want to do from there.
I would just have them skim the email, just because I want to nip this in the bud. This is not an issue of somebody, there's not a disciplinary issue associated with this. This is a call for increased information, but this is not an accusation in any way. Because I want to nip that in the bud, otherwise there will be people speculating about that.
It's essentially a FOIA request, a disclosure request for the board.
That's an accurate statement. Yes.
It's just high level looking at it. I believe we're working on they had asked for different stuff that I know we're actively working on. So
there will be a response.
Yep.
At some point.
No, and Melanie, no reason to apologize for pushing the context. Hey, it was brought up. It's fair for you guys to ask the questions, and it's fair for us to give you a response to the questions that you're asking about.
Okay, so with that, we have 15 minutes till we need to be out of the room. So if there's nothing else super pressing, I know that the email will continue to be discussed, and it'll be dealt with on Slack as well. But probably best we get offline to deal with that.
All hearts and minds clear.
Yeah. Buy your tickets, people.
Yep. Buy your tickets. Come join.
$10.
Come join the monsoon game. It's not Atlanta, so we'll see. Well, strange that it's going to be raining, but hey.
Seats are covered. Yeah.
Come dance in the rain with us.
Yep. Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Yep.